There are 4 questions, Jamie, that you answer in life, that I answer in life. Origin, meaning, morality, and destiny. You have to answer it. Why am I here? What's right and wrong? What brings me meaning? What happens to a human being when I die? And I'm going to challenge you now to listen, because I believe I'll prove that you constantly live with contradiction. There are 3 tests for truth. 3 tests for truth. The first test is this. An argument must be logically consistent. Okay? Secondly, it must be empirically adequate. Agree? Okay. Number 3, it must be existentially relevant. Logical consistency, empirical adequacy, existential relevance. When you take these 3 tests and put it to atheism, it is logically inconsistent. It is empirically inadequate because it argues from the negative. And it is existentially, ultimately, each one determines their own relevance, which means it takes away from you any condemnation of anyone else's belief, whether it's their opinion or their experience. So atheism falls on its face in all 3. When you take the Christian faith, you look for logical consistency in origin, meaning, morality, and destiny. 2 tests for truth you will always apply. One is correspondence theory. Does the statement a person make correspond to reality? Number 2 is the coherence theory. When all of these answers are given, is there a coherence to all of these answers? When you take the look at the person of Jesus Christ, who was prophesied on his birth centuries before he came into this world. So you already see a supernatural element coming in. It is not mere naturalism. But you start taking a look at this prophetic material. Take a look at his arrival in history, his life in history, his death in history, and his resurrection in history. The empirical evidence was so strong, Jamie, that if you listen to this simple statement, Christianity could have been destroyed in 1 solitary minute. 1 solitary minute, Christianity could have been destroyed if somebody had just presented the body of Jesus after he claimed to have risen from the dead. He didn't say he was going to spiritually rise again. He said he was going to bodily rise again. And he had enough enemies who could have simply said, here is that body. He never really rose again. But the physical evidence for the life, the death, the resurrection of Jesus is so overwhelming. And the prophetic element in the Old and the fulfillment in the New Testament. Over 1,500 years the Bible was written. It is not like one writer taking a dictation theory and saying this is a perfect book. 1,500 years the Bible is revealed. And after all these years of 2,000 years of textual scrutiny, even some of the staunchest skeptics will tell you there is no document in early history, none, that has the corroboration documentarily, historically, archaeologically, and evidentially that this particular book has. There is so much in there that if you really wanted to destroy it, there's enough empirical statements for you to try and disprove it. It is not some pie-in-the-sky opinion, existential type thing. There are objective moral facts presented there, so it's not my subjective belief. It is based on the reason of the person of Jesus Christ. And so what I challenge you to do is take the Gospels, read it with an open heart, and you say, God, if you really are real, you show yourself to me, and read it with the mind of a scrutinizing individual. God's given you great intelligence, you ask the right questions, look at it with scrutiny. And I say to you, you'll find out that everything he ever said would come to be true, turned out to be true. And the most important thing he said, Jamie, is that your problem and my problem is really not that we need more evidence. Your problem and my problem is that no matter how much evidence there is, we still want to have it our own way. And that is the problem in the world today. Everybody wants to have it their own way. I give you 2 things, and that is this. And then I'll give you an illustration, then be through. While we were dealing with people of various factions, we were actually in the home of a leading radical man in Hebron. I won't name his position or whatever. And I said this to him: you follow a different religion, sir? and I follow a different faith. I said, but this man was a terrorist. He was in prison for 18 years. 7 of his 10 children are dead. My traveling associate and I were together. And I said, before I leave, I want to say this to you. We agree on one thing. When you kill somebody, they want to take revenge and kill somebody you love. When you hurt somebody, they want to hurt you. When you wrong somebody, they want to wrong you. He said, that is correct. I said, I want to point you to a place where when sin was thrown, it didn't bounce back. And that is the cross. On the cross, all of the evil in the world was thrown onto Jesus. And his answer was not that it bounced back. His answer was, Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they're doing. And then I said to him, we disagree on another thing. You think Abraham offered, as at least in the group we were discussing, and I said it. Abraham offered Ishmael. You say. The Old and the New Testaments, we believe, said he offered Isaac. And at the last minute, as he was about to bring the knife down, God said, stop, I myself will provide. I said, sir, I said in the discussion group, 2,000 years ago, God himself did provide in his Son. And as long as we reject his Son, we will be sacrificing our own sons and daughters at some altar of hatred or some altar of violence. So the answer is either to trust the Son he has provided for you, or we look to a very bleak future. I was told by a leading Israeli Mossad man, the question is not when a nuclear device, if a nuclear device is going to be detonated, the question is when. And you as young people are looking to a world of fearsome possibilities. I just say to you, by all means study all these religions, because they all may make many great claims. I'm telling you why I believe in Jesus Christ, because the answers to the 4 questions were truthfully given by him, and the only system I know where it is completely coherent. Here is the closing illustration, and I'll be through. It comes out of a song some years ago called Desert Pete. A man wandering through a desert with bottles of water on his shoulders, and he began to get thirsty. And that thirst was getting deeper and deeper, and he was conserving it till all the water was gone. He saw a pump in the desert. He ran towards the pump. He lifted the handle, put it down, dry sound, metal upon metal. There was no water. He started to panic. But then he looked at a tin can around it. Inside the tin can was a message. Dear traveler, do not despair. There is enough water here. Just follow the instructions. Lift the handle of the pump, bring it down. When you hear the sound of metal on metal, it'll discourage you. But here's what you do. Under the pump, just in front of it, buried under the sand, is a bottle of water. Do not despair. Pick up that bottle of water, pour it into the cylinder, and start priming the pump. The moisture will get the system to work. Water will come gushing out of the pump. You can drink all the water you want. Refill all your bottles. Don't forget to fill up that one bottle and put it back for the next passerby. Warning, you're going to be tempted when you see this one bottle of water to drink it, but you'll be so thirsty again, and so will everybody else who goes by. Empty it out as instructed, and you'll have all the water you want, and so will everybody else going by. That's what you're up against. When you come up against Christ, he offers you that drink, that living water, to free you to be what he designed you to be, not to be enslaved just by the moment. If you empty your life on yourself, you will soon be thirsty again, and so will everybody else who comes across your path. You empty it out into his hands. He will fill you and give you the water that you can share with everybody else too, so life can be full and meaningful. It's in his hands that the 4 questions are answered that meet the test of truth, and it is in his person that you find it. And may we live peaceably with our differences, but it's not a subjective belief. It's based on objective measurement, and I invite you to do the same. In Hindi, they say, "Bahut mehrbani." Thank you very much. Appreciate it.